Hello.
How's it
Can you hear
Ah,
going?
me?
is that a cat or a
Okay.
dog?
It's a dog.
Is it?
It's a
It's a
dog.
dog.
I can't see it. Okay, I didn't see it.
It's a weird looking cat.
Okay, so we got another home. So we closed on our first one we did. Um, so we got another home under contract, I believe 2 days ago.
Wow.
And we've got a lot of people who want to do walkthroughs, but it's owner occupied. I just was curious on the best way to go about that.
It's his specialty.
So the property's owner occupied.
Yes.
What's the motivation?
Um, it was a pre-foreclosure.
Okay. And is it locked up currently?
Um, like by
Like, do you have
what
a
do you mean by
contract
that?
on it? Do you have a
Yeah, yeah,
contract?
yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. What's the inspection period?
20 days.
Okay. Not a big deal. You just can't walk a million buyers through it. You probably have one or two
Yeah.
buyers at most. That's
Right.
really it. The key point here is you got to make sure that the buyer is verbally already commits to a price before they walk through. Right? That's the most important part before you
Yeah.
have an owner occupied one. This might be
Okay.
shocking because your only deal has been a vacant house. Most of your deals
Right.
are going to be owner occupied.
Right.
So the reality is you get really two shots to bring crowds in there. Anything over that, you can actually risk losing the deal and pissing off the seller. So your vetting
That's what we
has
were
to be,
thinking.
yeah, your vetting has to be a step up.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, so go through your normal vetting process, and when you get down to it, it's just like make sure they're married to the price, and you've got to be very accurate on your price too. If you're going to hide something on them, like a bad roof or something, it's going to wreak havoc. So, how's the
Right.
condition of the property?
So I want to say it's around 1,700 square feet. The owner bought it back in 2000 and added a second story onto the home. He sent me all the permits for it, so it's valid. It does need a new HVAC. The roof is about 10 years old, but there's no leaks.
Okay.
And the kitchen is severely outdated. Um, it definitely we have a general contractor friend that we showed it to, and he said it probably could use around 40,000 to get it flipped. It's livable as he's living there now, obviously, but definitely if they were to flip and sell, it's going to need probably around 40,000.
Okay, so there's two other things you deal with here. Um, the second thing is when you present to the seller how you bring these people in when you bring them in the property, and you got to kind of have your story set up. Now, the good thing is most of them is we're bringing in partners anyways. I'm going to bring everybody you bring in is your partner. They're potentially your cash partner on the deal. Okay.
Okay.
So make sure you get that story consistent. So when you have the house open, if you got to get two or three people to do it, that's how you do it. Now, here's the problem. If you set everybody like 15 minutes apart, humans are humans, man.
I'd say
they
two.
show up early, they show up late. Like I'm a bit more like some properties I know I only get one shot.
Yeah.
And so I'll bring like three or four, and I'm praying to God the first one takes it and the other goes, I'm sorry, it's already sold. That's just part of the business. The second part is these sellers start talking to each other, and sometimes they can be like really difficult. The only thing you have to guard against is making sure that buyer never says a word or says anything that's going to screw your deal up with your seller. And that's the biggest thing having under control. You can't have a loudmouth. A loudmouth can show up to a vacant property, but someone goes, let me talk directly to the seller. Go, you're not going in that house. You can get in your car and see you later. You absolutely have to control every little aspect of the situation. So you're going to work a little bit harder for this one, but like we do them all the time. So make sure your rehab numbers are in line. You're representing the property. You don't have any, like you should know the property good enough that if you already know the roof, the HVAC system, you should know its worst thing and present it to your sellers. And if they're okay with that price and it's only a final inspection, you usually get a good feel for people like that. So it's versus a vacant house. You can just send people randomly over there. So you got to tighten up your underwriting process with your buyers. If they sound like they're going to be difficult, they're even wishy-washy, don't even send them there.
Yeah, one of the We made a Google Drive that has all of the photos and everything and has the info on the property. And the photos are pretty much very accurate to what the property is.
Okay.
But we did have one of our people who came and saw our last property who decided against it message us for this property and was like, I'd like to come walk through it. If you could put us first on your list of walkthroughs, that would be awesome. After he already like kind of pulled out of the last one, so that was something CJ was kind of against.
Just make sure they're primed. If you're going to do an assignment, they're ready. And honestly, that's actually how we train most of our buyers. They miss out on the first one. They go, man, next time I know you're not playing around. I'll be like ready to go, and just go, listen, remember last time your indecisiveness caused you to wait. If you want it, my deals are exactly what I represent. And if you take it, then great. Your best case scenario is you get like a bidding war. Just make sure you take the bidding war outside the house, narrow it down to 2 people, and have someone give your highest and best. So it's, I think it's like a good problem. How'd you find this deal?
We were RD for doing pre-foreclosures.
Yeah. So,
and CJ put a sticky note on the door. He gave us a call, not even, I think, 20 minutes later. And we set up the next day to come see it.
See, they listen to us.
Yeah.
What did I tell Brooklyn and CJ when they get their first deal? What did I tell them? Probates. I help them with the probates. They listen to what I say and they get a deal. This is a weird revelation, but like you do what we say on a one-on-one and it works. Like I'm not doing it to be dumb.
It's all a journey, guys. Like honestly, if you do the paid route or the me and Zach free route, will show you exactly how to do this.
Yeah.
You have to go through the journey. So is there Brooklyn, is there anything you can, how long you been doing this now? You guys?
Month, 2 months, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So can you give advice for someone like you went through the journey starting out and like, you've kind of heard us, like, what's your feedback to tell people? Like, cause there's some people start out, I gotta be honest with you, my first few months sucked when I started. I was extremely discouraged and I was just like, man, I want to quit.
We didn't have one-on-ones with 7-figure.
I did. And I was all by myself, but like, honestly, I just kept going in the fight. So there's a lot of people out there, they just get frustrated because so many people think I'm going to get instant success the minute I start marketing and wholesaling. And sometimes it works out, but honestly, some people just learn at a different pace. So anything you can tell us that's kept you guys focused on like wholesaling to?
Well, CJ pushes me a lot. I will say that it's always good to have someone who's pushing you. But I will say that first deal, it was luck. It was a bandit sign. We did not expect anything to come of it, but it did. And I guess you've got to just keep like going after it. You can't just give up if you get 1 no or 100 no's. Like you said, you're gonna. What is it said? Like 3 to 5% people are gonna answer when you're cold calling.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have your no's. You're gonna have your main people. You just gotta keep pushing forward because once you like see that first check, you know it's real.
Oh, that's it. I mean, the advice I give them, if they pay me $5,000 and I talk to them, I would give them the same exact words. But like then she would say, "Oh, the $5,000 is of course you need to do that because you got that advice." I give my heart and soul to you guys out here because I remember you guys calling. You know, the day before you lock up the deal, the day after you lock up the deal, the week after, the week after you got it done. Guy, I just want everyone to know, like, we helped you basically every week until you got that first deal because we're here to help. If you guys need help, we'll talk to you every week. Like, I don't care.
Isn't it funny if you think about it? Like, I started way back in 2003. Yeah. I taught you when you were 17 in high school. And now we're kind of here sharing with Brooklyn and a lot of other people. And I'm just like showing you, it's like, if you like take instructions and you really want to do it, you will do well in wholesaling. But this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. The biggest problem you have is like in your own head, like you start to struggle with it. I saw somebody put a comment earlier. It's so hard to wholesale in Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach. I'm like, dude, you're done. The minute you say that, you are physically checked out. You're not going to do it. I do it in South Florida all the time. They go, "Oh, you got 20 years over me." I go, "Here's the difference. I marketed today. What did you do?"
Yeah.
You know, so.
And even like Zach says, he's like, act like you put 2,000 to 5,000 down for this and use that information like you would have a course that you paid for.
Definitely, definitely. Awesome. So you've got a game plan on how to deal with it. You got to underwrite your buyers very carefully and be very consistent with your story, with your seller, and just make sure when you go show the property, either you or CJ's there, because somebody has to quarterback the whole thing. And sometimes if you get more than like 2 or 3 people there, if you can both be there, one with the seller, and your job's just to guard the seller and appease them. A lot of times I walk them out in the yard or somewhere the opposite, and then the other person's to focus on the buyers. And that way, me and Jack just do it all the time. You separate them, because if those two hit, it's a disaster. It's really bad. So that's my suggestion. If there's only one buyer going by, you can easily handle it yourself. But once you get 2 or 3 in the beginning, if you can bring and match it with CJ, would help out a lot.
Right.
That way you ensure your deal. Okay.
Awesome.
You got it. Awesome job, Brooklyn.
Thank
you.
Keep it up. Don't stop. Pre-foreclosures. There's going to be more and more every single month.
It's turning up.
You're just getting
started.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Awesome.